With a little help from my
Welcome
friends.
back to the Comic Book Bullies, Nerds of the Bully. I'm your host, Leroy, aka Martha Lover, with my co-host.
Yeah, this is Eli, aka Celtic Frosted Flakes.
There you go. We're back with the episode. Yeah. We're just gonna kind of get into it, but we do want to just address some things because this was a busy week. For one thing, want to say shout out, even though the day is past technically, want to shout out to Mother's Day to all the mamas and the mamas' mamas and the mamas' mamas, shout out to all of them. Hopefully you got some good stuff today, or at least the kids left you the fuck alone. Hopefully that happened too, one or the other. Oh man, it coming in hot already. Let's see. Jake,
Oh, it's
yo,
good.
Jake, what it do? Hopefully
What
you
up?
wish you and yours happy Mother's Day. Yeah. Also, not only Mother's Day, I want to talk about Cinco de Mayo also. Uh Now I understand that everybody is celebrating Cinco de Mayo, having fun, stuff like that. But I want to address May the 6th. Look, if you go out and party and get drunk and all this shit like that and go to work, go on Cinco de Mayo on May 5th, don't call out for May the 6th because the people that don't drink, they have more work to do. So just be mindful of that next year in 2023 when that happens, because I want to walk into my job and it look like 28 days later or cast away some shit like, hey, Leroy, all that other shit they're supposed to do, here you go. More than me because I'm a hard worker, but
Is that what
yeah,
Is that what happened?
that's exactly what fuck happened. I guarantee you, I'm not the only one it happened to. There are plenty of squares like me that don't drink on Cinco de Mayo that had to come into work the next day and had to do work for the drunk people that didn't show up to work. Hell, if y'all drunk, show up to work anyway. We don't mind. Doctor Strange 2 was weird and wild. E6
Weird,
1610. I feel
weird
like
and
I should know
wild.
that. 1610.
Weird.
I feel like I should know that. Yeah.
That ain't 616 man, is it?
Not 616 man, it's 1610 man. It's his variant. Shout out to Jake and all his baby mamas. Yeah. But also we want to, before we get it popping off with Doctor Strange, we do want to pay our condolences. I want to say rest in peace to George Perez or George Pérez. I've heard it say both ways. I can almost guarantee
Yeah.
I've heard him say George Pérez.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do a long
I think
thing
you're supposed to
like,
roll the R. Perez.
oh yeah, yes, for 420. Yes, the day is called 421 National Drug Test Day. So yeah, don't do that. Doctor Strange came out this weekend. Jake, where have you been? Appreciate you listening to us, but yeah, it's like everywhere. They've been advertising the shit out of it. Yes, 616
Hey,
man.
there's
You have a variant. The multiverse is real. I'm gonna show you where did that guy go? Where'd he go? Yeah. So we are living 616 man. That is your darkest timeline right there. George Perez. Back to George Perez. Yeah. Or George Perez. Yeah. Like I said, George Perez, we're not gonna do a long deep dive thing on it. The reason we're not gonna do a long deep dive thing about it because we and anybody that's listening to this podcast actually known that he's been sick for months now. And he just decided instead of doing any kind of therapy, any kind of, anything like that, he's just going to just write it out and just whatever happens, just happens. And we kind of suspected around May, April, June-ish. You're really about May. His time is going to be up, and we got the news that actually this week is when his time was up. So just give you a quick rundown. Like I said, he was an amazing artist. He was one of the that's George Perez right there. I didn't notice that. I'm like, why you guys wearing those multicolored shirts? Then just realized it's comic panels.
Well, his wife made all it. He was famous for his shirts. His
Yeah,
wife made all his shirts.
yeah, because it was shirts of his drawings.
Well,
So
not
that's
only
what
that, just weird like pigs, and just all weird, just weird designs. She
yeah. But when you
tailor-made
saw
all
him,
his shirts.
when you saw him, you saw his shirts also.
Yeah.
But like I said, also he did the Teen Titans, but he also did the post-crisis origin of Wonder Woman. So a lot of stuff Wonder Woman for that's not in the 70s and all stuff like that, with sex slave and bondage shit like that. You can thank him. And also he did this awesome redesign on Ares because Ares did not look like that back in the 60s. So and that's kind of the thing they adapted in Wonder Woman in the Wonder Woman movie. Also, since we're talking about the multiverse, he is part of the greatest multiverse comic story of all time. Actually, probably two of the greatest multiverse comic stories of all time. Oh, not that one. That was awesome, but I grabbed the wrong one. Damn it, I grabbed the wrong one. Yeah, Rise on Infinite Earths, but I can't. I had it and I can't find it. Anyway, Christ on Infinite Earths. That's the one he did. Still to this day, the gold standard of what all multiverse stories in comics are made of. Christ on Infinite Earths was not the first multiverse story. It wasn't the first DC multiverse story. It's just like the biggest. And the second multiverse story he did was this JLA versus yeah. So he drew this monstrosity. The guy was a maniac, drawing all stuff like that. So
yeah,
he
he's
did
very
that.
detail oriented. He's known
Yeah,
for his detail.
they say he wasn't the fastest drawer in the world, but when the work got done, hey, you want it fast, you want it good. Which one you want? And he also gave us one of the not that one. I'm fucking up. Where my shit go, man?
Just discombobulated.
Yeah, man. I had this shit organized and I just got unorganized. I want to blame it on the system, but I'm pretty sure it's my fault. So we're just gonna go with that. But anyway, rest in peace to George Perez. Like I said, if you want to hear a deep dive, I'll put a link into it where we did a deep dive on if you want to hear.
Yeah, we already gave him a tribute a few months ago when he first announced that he was sick and all that. So
yeah. 616 man, you spoiled it for me because that is in my notes. The Avengers Dissembles is in my notes. There's a Doctor Strange tomorrow, so Warren spoils.
Fat T. Oh, we're gonna spoil it. We're spoiling it.
Yeah, I have it in the title. Spoilers. You telling them no spoilers?
Yeah, we're spoiling
Goku
it.
dies. Man, when John Wick walked out that portal, man, shit.
Luke is the truth.
You're right. Anyway, like we go into before we go into Eli, we're going to bring back a classic. Give it to me. What is the number one movie of the week?
That Marvel movie.
That Marvel movie or Disney movie. There was never a wrong answer, whatever you say. That. Exactly. Yeah, so let's just go right into it. Like I said, we got of course the number one movie was the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We have the bad guys. I don't know what that is. Sonic 2 still hanging in there, Fantastic Beasts. But what you want to know is what did they do for the weekend? So domestic wise, god damn, I didn't know they did that much. Okay. $185 million domestically, but it's already at 450 million worldwide, almost at $500 million in the first weekend. So pretty good, So so Doctor Strange 3 is happening. Does yours about those numbers? Oh, fuck it. I'll see it no matter what. Yeah, Fat T, we going balls. You know how Fat T, you know how we do. This is not your first rodeo. You know how we do this. Yeah. So let's just jump into it. Let's talk about now before we get into the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, like I said, other movie reviewers, we're not really movie reviewers, we kind of just do our thing, but a lot of movie reviewers will just talk about the movie and things like that. But since we're comic book aficionados, or at least we claim to be, we're self-proclaimed comic book aficionados, we want to go a little bit deeper. Want to let you know it will drop off the second week. Oh, all movies do. Yeah. But the point is, how much will it drop? That's the question. And I always think, in my personal opinion, to tell how good or how well received the movie is, always look at the second week, the second drop off, because any movie can have a big weekend. That's nothing, but that second weekend will always tell the tale. But yeah, just jumping into it, we're just going to just deep dive. And I just want to give some quick, like stuff that just popped out at me as far as what I recognize, from this movie, or stuff that I thought that was doing. And damn, I'm all discombobulated. I know I'm fucked up. Anyway, like I said, this movie, everybody wants to talk about House of M and all stuff like that, because I didn't really see that it was like taken directly from a single comic book story, but it did seem like it felt like it was its own original story, but it was taking elements and sprinkles of other comic book stories kind of like peppered in. One of them was
what the MCU is doing now anyways,
because they're kind of running out of main stories and they don't have enough time for the other stories to,
like, there's maybe a book or two that's like maybe like the main plot thread, but they're borrowing from everything.
Right, like WandaVision, for instance. Like WandaVision wasn't really based on anything, but if you read the Vision story, you saw elements in there, but it wasn't the Vision story or adaptation,
Yeah. Or
but
all the way House of M or any of that,
Or all the way House of M, but you saw elements of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I saw elements of Avengers December. It wasn't straight up Avengers December, but I saw elements of it. One of the many, many stories where Wanda lost her shit and started killing people. That's the thing. That's a spoiler alert for anybody.
Isn't that all she does?
That's what she does. Like I said, she's been around for 60 years. So Wanda's whole thing is that she joins a team, the Avengers or the X-Men. She loses her shit, kills people, redeems herself, joins the team, loses her shit, kills people, redeems herself. It's her ending cycle. That's what she always does. Like I said, one of the earliest times she did was now normally times when it happens, she's usually possessed by some kind of demon or somebody brainwashed her. Magneto does some shit, or Mephisto or some shit like that, and that's when she loses it. So it's never her. It's always something else. It's always something else to that. What do we got here? Oh, we're also going to talk about the Illuminati. The Illuminati is a real thing. Also, I want to talk about Mount Wundagore. Mount Wundagore is a big thing in the Marvel Comics also. Mount Wundagore is actually where Wanda and Pietro were born, and that is where the Darkhold was created, and the demon Cthulhu wrote the Darkhold and passed it down to generation. In the comics, the Darkhold is basically any like man of power, like Genghis Khan, like that. They had possession of the Darkhold. And that's how they use it to rule the world, Fuck, I see it no matter what. Whatever this week. Wanda's crazy mom vibe. Yes, 616 man, you called it there also. Didn't they kill two? Wait, what?
The Avengers or the Illuminati? I think he's talking about the Illuminati.
Oh, the Illuminati. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, in the early 2010s, everybody thought the Illuminati was something.
The real Illuminati.
Right. The real Illuminati. Yes, the Illuminati. And I'll be honest with you.
The stone cutters.
Yeah, we went crazy in the 2010s where everybody thought the Illuminati was some kind of sex cult, that Jay-Z and Beyonce was a part of. Like, if they really was Illuminati, do you really think they let Jay-Z and Beyonce a part of it? Or they would bother to kill Tupac? Why kill Tupac? I don't know. I think Suge Knight did it, but that's just me. But anyway, Dr. Doom tried to marry her for Ultimate. Hell, I think he tried to marry her like the regular universe. Yeah, Dr. Doom got the hots for Wanda. I mean, because she knows magic and she's crazy. He has a type, What else we got? Like I said, it's Illuminati, they're real. They did mention something quickly in the movie where they talked about the incursion. So when we talk about Avengers December, we also got to talk about Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars run, which they seem like they're planting the seeds for that. Because when the incursions, where they had the planets crashing into each other, blowing up shit like that. Yeah, so they're planting the seeds. I don't know if they're gonna do Secret Wars, but they're planting the seed. They're letting people know what they're doing right now.
We can either way, comic nerds fucking busted a nut. Ooh,
recognize that. It's for me. Nobody else recognizes.
Oh my god,
but me.
I know that. This movie's awesome.
Then why the dude that's sitting popcorn next to you? Shut up, nerd. Sit down.
Incursion.
Also, I want to talk briefly about America Chavez. They didn't say her superhero name in the movie, but her superhero name in the comics is Miss America. Shocker. Yeah, that's the thing. She pretty much the same powers in the comics. I mean, pretty same powers she had in the movies and the comics. She can hop from multiverse to multiverse with that star shit she does. She has super strength. She can also fly in the comics. They don't explain how she does any of the shit. She just does it. I never read any of her solo comics because they sucked, but she did pop up in superhero books every now and then that I kind of like. So I'm like, she feels out of roster. So yeah, why not? Throw her on the team. Okay. Let's see what else we got. They're coming in hot.
The best part.
Who? Miss America? I don't think so. I'll talk about that in a second, but yeah.
Me right now.
That's some creepy shit.
Look at my chops, yo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but that's what's going on right now. So like I said, those are the elements of what I saw in the movie. It does feel like it's setting up things, but the Russo brothers keep saying they only come back for, yes, they're saying that they'll come back if they do Secret Wars. They want to come back for Secret Wars, or that's the only movie they'll come back for. So it does seem like they're planting the seeds for that at least.
So they're talking about Hickman's Secret Wars, not the old school Beyonder Secret Wars.
Well, this is Marvel. They might do both. And
just do both.
Yeah, just fuck it, like nobody knows, yeah. So I guess that being said, I guess we just talk about the movie and what I talk about. I guess I'll go first. About what jumped out at me. Like I said, the movie I felt like was a visual feast. Now, is this committing the crime that Martin Scorsese said that all these movies aren't cinema, just theme park rides? Yes, he's right about this movie. But guess what? That's okay. Because sometimes you want a theme park ride. Sometimes you just want to go, ooh, Multiverse of Madness, stuff like that. And that's fine. It's okay to just go see a visually appealing movie that's more style over substance. Wait, what shouldn't you be better as a show? Not really. I mean, nah, not really. I don't think so.
For a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, they do a 4-hour movie. They'll break it up in 5 parts or some shit like that. So yeah. I mean, hell, all the TV shows, all the movies are TV shows anyway. So shit. Yeah. Yeah, let me say, and I think it's very coincidental that Marvel released this movie on Mother's Day weekend. And I also noticed something, and I didn't notice it first we were making fun of, but I noticed it, that Multiverse of Madness M-O-M, mom.
Oh shit! Oh, it's the Illuminati, dude.
Stay woke. Stay woke.
Gotta
It's
open your
that.
third eye, my brother.
Right, like Doctor Strange, Yeah, so that's what's going on with this movie. So they purposely released this movie on Mother's Day because at the heart of this movie, it is a Mother's Day movie. Just like Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So yeah, so we can say that about this movie. Like I said, it's another one of those movies where Wanda lost her shit. What I did like about this movie is that Wanda did lose her shit on her own volition, like her own control. She wasn't possessed by a demon or wasn't controlled by Mephisto, like that. It was her doing this. Now you can say the Darkhold corrupted her, but it was still on her own choosing. So all of her actions, she is responsible for it. And a lot of times it's a comic book trope that whenever a woman has too much power, she always get possessed. So it's not Jean Grey, it's the Dark Phoenix doing it. It's not Sue Storm, it's Malice doing it. It's not Madeline Pryor, it's the Goblin Queen doing it. So it's like some other demon possessing them so they can never be controlled their own actions. Wanda is in control of her own actions. Yes, the Darkhold corrupted her. Yes, she's drunk off her own power, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's her actions that's doing it. Clipper Internet Scoopers, get this shit on there for rumors and ties. That's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up, 616, man. Let's just talk about that also. So a lot of people online, like I said, Eli, you talked about how comic book nerds like it when they just throw them breadcrumbs and stuff like that. Well, a lot of comic book nerds are upset also because one thing about this movie, if I could criticize about it, that they were heavy on the madness, light on the multiverse. A lot of people wanted, cameos on top of cameos, Yeah, there was some, but did we get Tom Cruise as Iron Man? No. Did we get Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter as Wolverine? We didn't get that. So that's what people were expecting.
What the fuck?
You didn't get Goku, you didn't get Magneto, you didn't get John Wick. None of that shit showed up.
Luke, and didn't get
right, no Luke Skywalker, no Baby
no
Yoda.
Superman, where the fuck was
right?
Superman?
But we got this covers, right? Black Superman, none of that shit showed up. Even though we got this covered, told us this was going to happen. So because we got this cover lied, I'm gonna hate this movie. Like, what sense does that make? Deadpool wasn't in it, even though.
I think that's one of the reasons why. I mean, I've heard this is a divisive movie. And I heard that's one of the reasons. I think that's one of the reasons why people
that is one of the reasons. There are other reasons, but that is definitely one of the reasons. Fun fact, Jake, Howard the Duck did show up in Endgame. Watch again, see if you can find him. Harry Potter's Wolverine. Yes, that was a thing.
We ranted about that a couple.
We ranted about that. That was a thing. So that's the thing. So people kept yelling about, I want this in the movie, I want that in the movie, and none of that stuff ever happened. So people got pissed off about it. That's one you shouldn't read all these rumors, stuff like that. Now, yeah, I believe the rumor that Tom Cruise was going to be Iron Man in the movie, but if he wasn't in it, I was gonna be like, oh fuck this movie. It's a 1 out of 5 because Tom Cruise was in it. No, it just was a thing. And why are people upset that a Doctor Strange movie turned out to be nothing more than a Doctor Strange movie? I mean, that's what Marvel sold it as. Yeah, they sold it as cameos, but guess what? Those cameos were just that, cameos. It wasn't like the Marvel cameo action hour guest starring Doctor Strange, which what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was exactly going to be like he barely shows up and Illuminati just takes over and fight everybody while he's stuck in a cage doing some bullshit, whatever like that. But it wasn't that. It was pretty much a Doctor Strange / Wanda movie. It was both of their movies. And you really can't complain about Wanda being too much a movie because, like, shit, she's the villain. I've seen some movies where the villain is focused more time. Batman, that original Batman 89. Joker is in that movie more than Batman is. But nobody says, oh, it's too much Joker. No, nobody says that. It's like when Ant-Man didn't go to the big. I don't think anybody was upset about that, but maybe somebody was. Maybe some people were upset about that. I remember being a huge artifact plot device.
Yeah, we ranted about that during the whole. We're not there for the. Was it the Morbius review? We talked about that. The Midnight Sun.
I don't think he was there that week because I remember. I don't think 616 Man was that week. But the Darkhold has been a thing. Like the Darkhold has always been a thing. It's been in Midnight Suns. It was like several seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where they had to do this shit. I think in the Runaways, I think it showed up in there. So
it's Marvel's Necronomicon, yeah.
Which is another thing we're talking about. That's the thing, Eli. I felt like this was more of a Sam Raimi movie than a Kevin Feige movie. Because there was a lot of Sam Raimi isms in this movie.
Oh yeah. I was pinpointing. That's from Evil Dead. There's Drag Me to Hell. There's Army of Darkness. There's
Right,
Evil
and
Ass.
it,
Yeah.
right, and it wasn't just his movies either. I mean, like I said, I'm you're my horror guy. You're my horror expert here. I know you spotted all kind of tropes that were popping up through the movie. Like,
No.
oh, that came from that. That came
The
from that. That came
car,
from that.
Ash's car. It's
Yeah,
in every Sam Raimi movie. It makes an appearance in even in Spider-Man. Uncle Ben was driving it in Spider-Man. It made an appearance in this one too.
yeah.
So yeah,
Just like
I was, Bruce Campbell, Bruce
Bruce
Campbell
Campbell, which we
cameo.
knew Bruce Campbell was going to be in it.
Yeah, and he
That's
squirts shit in his face that Sam Raimi can never resist, squirting some shit in Bruce Campbell's face.
that's his best friend. It's not like he hates him or something.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Bruce needs a bigger role. Yeah, I think his leading man days are behind him. There was a time when, like, every comic book casting role, everybody fan casted Bruce Campbell as, oh, Bruce Campbell need to be this guy, that guy, that guy. Like, damn. Okay. I think he's past that now, but yeah, pushing hard on comedy. And that's another thing. I'm damn 616. You kind of like read my mind before I even get to it, but I'll go ahead and address it. One thing I did like about this movie, I felt like this was the most R-rated PG-13 movie I've seen in a while. Wasn't 80s level. Like I said, we all grew up in the 80s where this shit would have been PG,
Yeah, I thought it was
it's
pretty light.
yeah, but I'm saying as far as a PG-13 movie in this age, like, can you think of a harder PG-13 movie in recent years?
I think Drag Me to Hell was PG-13, and I was surprised that was PG-13. I don't know.
Okay,
I think
we might have.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we'll look it up. We'll look it up.
Did this movie scare you?
It didn't scare me. It didn't scare me. But there were people in the movie that were scared. I did see people scared. It didn't scare me. I was like, oh, because I knew the jump scares were coming, But there were people like, oh, and I had to put a disclaimer out. Like, if you're gonna take little kids to go see this movie, like I said, we grew up in the 80s. So shit like this, we were used to it. But little kids that don't grow up to this and go see a Marvel movie and expect jokey jokes and stuff like that, and they see this shit, it might freak some of them out if they have a low threshold. So I did put a disclaimer out for that.
I guess. Yeah, we're from the 80s. We're hard. Yeah, we're
right. So, like I said, they didn't grow up when we grew up. It's surprising we made it out the way we did. But that's the thing. But I'm saying, in this day and age, it might be a little too much for people not used to it. That's all.
I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, like Shazam. Shazam had those monsters, but I wouldn't call it.
But people were pissed at Shazam. People were pissed at Shazam. I remember that. I even heard some stories of parents taking their kids out when that shit started happening. Because that guy that's the age we live in, right? We live in the participation generation, so of course they're gonna be mad. Yeah, but like I said, but that guy came from a horror background, so of course we're gonna see that stuff. So yeah, like I said, that's why I put the disclaimer out there that, yeah, this is for a PG-13 movie. It may be a little bit harder what you expect. That's the thing. People going in expecting to see the Marvel Action Hour and getting really, a TV version of Evil Dead 4. They wouldn't expect this shit. They may not be ready for shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go as much as to call it horror. I mean, yeah, it was like horror light. Baby's first Conjuring.
That's what I'm saying. That's baby first horror movie.
Yeah. Baby's first Exorcist or some shit.
Yeah, two critics say it was kind of weak. They really were. Yeah. One was Clea, which I don't really care. I put Charlize Theron in all these movies. She's kind of whatever. But yeah, that's my thing about the movie. So people are upset because they expected it to be way more cameos, but it was actually a more focused Doctor Strange Wanda story. More on Wanda than it was on Doctor Strange. Some people criticized the movie that it may have felt like an episodic adventure for Doctor Strange. Like, when you watch those James Bond movies, shit happens, but at the end of the day, it's just another James Bond adventure. Because what did Doctor Strange really go through in this movie? Did it really bust the MCU wide open? Not really. He went through an adventure, he got something, and that's it. Another thing about this movie is that people were expecting it to do all this homework and all this studying and all this research. And okay, I watched Spider-Man No Way Home. I watched What If. I watched blah, 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 Loki and all the shit like that. None of that shit factored into the movie. It didn't. You didn't have to watch What If for this. You didn't have to watch Loki for this. You didn't even have to watch No Way Home for this. We thought that was going to fall into this story plot line. It didn't at all. The only thing you had to watch was WandaVision. Now, if you didn't watch WandaVision, you would be like, what happened? You know, why is she going this way? You know, so you would be lost if you didn't watch WandaVision. But all the other shit, you don't need to watch What If. You don't need to watch Loki, stuff like that, because none of that played into it, even though a lot of people thought it did. So they was thinking that they had to watch all that Moon Knight, that they had to watch all this stuff just to, you know, just to understand what's going on in this movie, when really boiled down to it, it was really a self-contained story. And then when it ended, it kind of just wrapped up. It didn't bust the multiverse wide open. They closed it up and that was it. You know, otherwise, other than an incursion popped out of somewhere that they took care of off screen, I'm pretty sure to be taken care of by the time
that should happen in the Spider-Man movie anyway. So
yeah, that's the thing. But that's the thing. But the Spider-Man shit, none of the Spider-Man shit had nothing to do with this. We thought it was going to, but
I think I think they were expecting, oh my God, all this cool shit's gonna happen now. And it's just like, it's just another multiverse thing, you know. We get so many, like the multiverse. I mean, you know, with you know, all these multiverse movies happening or stories with Community and Rick and Morty,
the darkest timeline, right?
Yeah, you know, Jet Li's the one. Remember that shit?
Flash next year, or it would have been this year if DC get this shit together.
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, we just keep getting these like multiverse storylines coming from all these movies, so it's like nothing new really anymore. I don't know why they're expecting like all this mind-blowing shit to happen.
Well, look, that people watching the movie because they want to know when the X-Men are going to show up. That's the thing. When are the X-Men going to show up? So they think, okay, Wolverine's going to show up, Cyclops is going to be it's going to be a stinger at the ending. None of that happened.
And they acknowledged that in this one with Professor X. You know, they acknowledged.
He showed up and was killed off. You know,
which I thought was hilarious. I thought
it was hilarious. But you know, people are pissed off that we finally get to see these heroes, stuff like that, and everybody just killed off in like seconds. Which I thought was hilarious. Also, like, damn. So that's just they basically were jobbers for Wanda. That's all it was. Like the most powerful heroes were just jobbers. You know.
Yeah, she like the Illuminati got murked.
Right.
With the quickness, which I laugh. I thought that was hilarious.
Right. And people think it's gonna be so like
especially Reed when she takes out Reed.
My thing is, what did Reed expect him to do? But like, I'm gonna use my stretchy powers on this all-powerful evil witch that controls the multiverse. Like, okay. Like he deserved it. He's the smartest man in the world. That was the dumbest shit you could think of. Oh, my strongest guy over here. Let me tell you his weakness. Like, come on, man. So, and that was another thing about it. Black Bolt was the same actor from the Inhuman show. So
there you go. Don't you feel legitimate now?
Yes, I'm the one person that watched that show from beginning to end. Oh, they're dead. Now, I do like the one thing when Reed did mention he has kids. I was like, oh, if Franklin was here right now, Franklin could fuck up Wanda because nobody else could stop her, you know. Even Dr. Variant, Nightmare Villain, since he literally said he haunts Doctor Strange. Honestly, it felt very Star Trek-ish to me. Because when we're talking about the multiverse like that, if you want to talk like the first pop culture thing, you could say Star Trek. You know, when they went to the evil dimension, everybody had like evil goatees and shit.
Or Army of Darkness, evil Ash, you know.
Right.
I'm good,
so
Ash, and you're bad Ash, you know.
Yeah, that was a show. Wait, that was a show. Yes. So Jake, Black Bolt at the end was in a human show. Don't watch it. It's hands down the worst thing Marvel has done. Whatever you think Marvel has done, TV show wise, it's worse. It's so much worse. So Jennifer Lawrence been fast. Turn over spaghetti man. Hey, that's what you should have been talking shit. That's all. Talking about we'll handle your little witch. Okay, sure. Of course you will. Trying to think what else we can think about this movie. As far as like character arc, that we could talk about, it was an episodic adventure, but I guess Strange did kind of go through a arc also, because when he met that evil Doctor Strange, basically the evil Doctor Strange was going through the same thing Wanda was going through, and it is easily how easily he can be could fall down that path also. So I thought it was pretty interesting. And yeah, that's pretty much all I talk about. Like I said, I thought it was an awesome, visually entertaining movie, especially at the end when he started doing crazy shit like Strange possessing a zombie, you know, fighting Wanda, saying shit like, if you want to, you got to do more than kill me, I'm like, okay, that's a crazy ass line, but still. But that's more Raimi-ism, because it did feel like he was doing a Deadite type thing, you know.
And it reminded me of the Darkness, like when like Dark, Dead, Strange, when he possessed his dead body.
And those souls of the damn
demon souls coming out reminded me of the Darkness. Like, damn, that looked dope.
And he had to use it as a cape because he can't fly in this universe, stuff like that. Even like I said, and we could talk about other horror movie tropes that were going on, like when she popped out of the gong and is basically out of the ring, you know, or even the horror movie scene when they're walking down the corridor and she was like, that's so many slasher movies that was in. We could talk about Michael Myers.
Oh,
That's the funny thing about it, that she was limping. They were running at full speed and she was still right behind them the whole time. But that's a horror movie trope. What you expect?
Or just
Almost
like
expect.
the cartoon, or the cartoon. Well, it was a cartoon, but that big giant monster that he fought in the street, you know, and then he pulled the eye out. That's right out of Evil Dead.
Yes. Okay, that's another
evil,
thing.
But in the Evil, like, there's the nod to Evil Dead when the eyeball shot out and went into that chick, went into Bobby Joe's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, when I first saw it, I expected a geyser of blood to. I was like, oh wait, this is Marvel.
It's PG-13. It's PG-13. But yes, we got to talk about Shumagorath. I don't want to hear nothing about no fucking Gargantos or no fucky looking shit like that. No, this is Shumagorath. Now, yes, I understand they couldn't call him Shumagorath because Marvel, technically the rights are kind of wishy-washy because they may or may not be tied in with Conan. And people were complaining about the fight was too long with the bug-eyed monster. They don't understand that was fan service because we as fans know who Shumagorath is from Marvel vs. Capcom. You know, he was one of those weird monster stuff like that. So when you fight him, you go, and yes, it's me playing. I'm sorry, y'all. I dropped the combo, but that's okay. But yeah, that's what we know Shumagorath from. So yes, I would like, give me as much Shumagorath as you can. And we understand if you want to call him Gargantos because of legal reasons, that's cool. But we know what Shumagorath looks like, you know.
So people were bitching about that fight? I don't know.
Yeah. You had a whole bunch of critics. The pacing, the cinematography, the CGI. How are you supposed to make a realistic, better looking bug-eyed monster? You know, of course it's going to be shitty CGI, especially you can do Black Bolt. Yeah. Funny thing about Black Bolt, he started talking and nuked himself in the head. I thought that shit was funny. Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, it was a bunch of cool moments in the movie. Yeah, there was some, you could tell there was some studio pacing moments in the movie where they kind of stopped it and started talking about who America Chavez was, like we give a shit. Yeah. Oh, my two moms, who cares? You know, whatever, you know. We understand they have to shoehorn in here because they're setting up the next generation of Avengers, so she's got to be on the team. But for the most part, she was a plot device or a MacGuffin, if you will, like they call it as a trope. You know, that's all she was there for. Eli, you can almost say she was the final girl of this movie if you really want to play in the horror movie tropes, because Strange technically was dead, even though he was still fighting.
I suppose, yeah.
Gorath was cool to see, yeah. Professor X got his neck snapped. Oh, but anyway, I talked enough about Eli. What did you think about it? Go ahead, Rick.
Uh-oh.
You didn't think you're gonna get a chance. Go ahead and crack your knuckles. And...
No, I thought it was okay. Now that doesn't mean I hate the movie. Get this? I know it's the internet. Oh my god, you didn't like totally bust a nut watching this movie? You must hate this shit.
or it's SJW woke bullshit.
I thought it was okay. That's just, you know, I was entertained. Like you said, it was beautiful to look at. Fucking, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Sam Raimi, you know, here's the thing about Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi he's one of the pioneers of this style of filmmaking. You know, all the whippy camera moves and the zooms and the flash cuts and all that shit. He was doing that shit back in the 70s. Now you can say, oh, George Lucas was doing, you know, he was doing special effects and for Star Wars and all that shit. No, Sam Raimi was doing this shit by himself. You know, because that's when he shot the first Evil Dead in the late 70s. It didn't get released for a few years. But, you know, he was doing all these guys, Robert Tappert, Bruce Campbell, they were strapping cameras to 2x4s and inventing these wild shots, you know, on 16 millimeter cameras. So he kind of like pioneered this wacky style of filmmaking that we see in every movie now, all that you can only do with CGI. He was doing that shit with impractical in-camera shit, you know. So, yeah, it was cool to see him just sort of flex those, you know, his style. You know.
I want to add while you're going. Also, when we talk about Sam Raimi, we got to understand that the Marvel tropes of happening like the new millennium, he invented that too. Because the Spider-Man movies, pretty much the MCU is just okay. The Spider-Man movies wrote the blueprint. Let's just copy that shit, you know. And so so he did. So it kind of it almost comes full circle with him doing Doctor Strange, especially with they're both Steve Ditko creations. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. But
so yeah, I had a lot of fun, with it. I was like, as a Sam Raimi, as an Evil Dead 2 is like one of my all-time favorite movies. I will pick that over the Titanic or anything Nolan did. Anything. So it was fun to see, like sit there and pick, while all the comic nerds were, ooh, the Illuminati and ooh, incursions. I'm sitting there, Drag Me to Hell, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, The Gift.
But I think that's one of the strengths of the movie, Eli, because they're feeding comic nerds. But since Sam Raimi, like I said, comes from that horror background, he's feeding horror fans also. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying he's scaring you, but you can see the tropes.
Yeah, and that's what I had fun doing. Like I said, seeing Bruce Campbell, seeing Ash's car, seeing shots right out of certain movies and certain timing, that just seeing Sam Raimi flex his style was fun to watch. About the only gripe I had was this, I guess, the storyline. I guess my only thing is Wanda is all of a sudden evil because she's just sad again. That's my only thing. We already went through WandaVision, which is what we spent, how many episodes dwelling on Wanda's trauma and her coming to terms with that trauma. And I love WandaVision. It really was a deep dive into into her sorrow, into her pain. And I love that show. And and at the end of that show, she sort of comes to terms with this. She goes in hiding and, I did a bad thing. I shouldn't possess people's towns and shit. And she kind of goes into hiding. But then here we come to this movie and she's like, oh, I'm still sad. I'm going to go evil now. Now I'm the bad guy now. So I thought that was kind of a weak motivation. Cause like I said, it's just like rehashing WandaVision again. So that was like my only gripe with it, and another thing, I guess I'm not a big Doctor Strange fan. I never really connected with him as a comic character or Wanda. I was never into the Scarlet Witch. I think she just, like you said before, all she does is fuck shit up.
Right.
That's all she does is fuck shit up. She's always throwing a hissy fit and ruining universes. And it was like, what's your just make some more kids? You made these kids and not even make some more. Like, what's the fucking problem?
Right.
I guess it's magic. That's my thing. I have a deal with. I'm not into magic. That's what I'm finding. I find magic characters kind of corny. I just can't get into it
because there's no rules. They're kind of do what they want. Yeah.
Doctor Strange. Why do these sorcerers know kung fu? Why are they fighting with kung fu weapons? Just turn the motherfucker into a bunny rabbit or some shit. Like what?
Well, what you gotta do an incantation and a spell, and you gotta do some jiu-jitsu. But when you punch a motherfucker, just shoot him. You just do that shit. So you gotta. That's my explanation for it. That's what.
Why to just make some more kids? You fucking. You fuck up all these universes. You can't just make a kid again. Like what the fuck? I get that's.
Hell, go meet a guy.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? I guess that's why I could never get into Harry Potter. It's just corny ass shit. I'm just not into magic shit. Like Conan, he hates sorcerers because they're fucking punk ass pussies who use magic.
Right. You said they won't straight up fight. Right.
I stand with Conan. So I guess that being therefore, yes, I wasn't.
Conan don't like. If Conan says fuck magic, I say fuck magic.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, I'm not emotionally invested into Doctor Strange or Wanda as characters. So therefore, I had a hard time buying the dramatic weight of it, But other than that, I had a good time. Like I said, it was fun to watch. It was cool to see Zombie Strange come up and do some darkness shit. And I laughed my ass off when she just totally slapped the shit out of the Illuminati, it was another perfectly fine Marvel movie to me, and that's how I view most of the Marvel movies. They're perfectly fine. It's another Ant-Man. It's another fucking, Black Widow. It's another, standard Marvel flick, and that's how I viewed it. I wasn't particularly blown away and like, oh my God, oh shit, like I was with like Endgame or Winter Soldier. This was another fine, entertaining movie, like Shazam, like Captain Marvel, like I haven't really hated any of the Marvel movies,
right?
Except
so
for like,
they're all on the same level for you,
yeah, except for like Dark
Yeah.
World and like Iron Man 2. I came out of those movies saying,
Yeah.
fuck that shit. But but for the most part, I'm like, oh, that was fun. And that's how I felt about this. I thought it was fine. It was another perfectly serviceable comic book movie.
Which is better?
Oh, I hated the remake of Evil Dead. So
well, there you go.
don't open that door. I'll stand here for another hour bitching about the Evil Dead remake.
Obi-Wan Super 6. Yeah, that was even a nod to Superman. Basically, when Doctor Strange jumped off the building and then turned into Doctor Strange, or he Sorcerer Supreme clothes. That was straight out of Superman, like the old Superman. So yeah, I like that little thing right there. Supernatural level, but Ghost Rider is a nice blend between the two. Yeah, let's see. Keeping rumors about doing a Scarlet Witch trilogy. Isn't she dead at the end? She's a multiversal being that killed the Illuminati in 5 minutes. You think a building's gonna kill her? I mean, you know the rules. Nobody, no death. You know how it is. So
yeah.
So they could bring it back anytime they wanted to. So
I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
3.5 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5. Okay. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 because of the creativity they put into it, because there was some shit they was doing that was like, oh, well, that's creativity. Even the music battle, I kind of like that one. That was probably the weakest part of the movie to me, but just the fact they were doing it and you can hear like symphonies playing in the background, like
Yeah.
the whole time. I was like, oh, okay, this is creative. And plus the whole thing where they were doing with the multiverse about how dreams are like peeping into the other realities, and that's not even a magic thing. That's actually like scientists have theorized that maybe if there is a multiverse, dreams let our way in there. And
I've
even
heard
how
that
they
too.
yeah.
I think like Hindus or like Buddhists believe like when you dream, you're dreaming of your another self, and that's the thing is I see, that's the thing, I like all of that, especially in the first Doctor Strange, because he was dealing with trauma. He was dealing with physical trauma because of his hands, and it led to this depression. And then he ended up overcoming his trauma, because trauma, same thing with Wanda. She trapped herself in that neighborhood, just in this moment of despair. And that's what trauma is. You're stuck in this moment of sadness. That's why I loved the first Doctor Strange, when that's how he defeats Dormammu, by defeating him with a time loop.
Outthinking him.
Yeah, it's a time loop. He traps Dormammu in time. So I thought that thematically, I loved all that. So that coming into this movie, we're like, oh, we're just getting over trauma again. I guess it wasn't nothing new to me. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. I wasn't as it wasn't as thought provoking as WandaVision or the first Doctor Strange for me anyways. But yeah, it was fun. It was a wild ride. It was fun.
Right. And that's the thing. Like I said, I agree with you on it. It wasn't as thought provoking. There's not a lot of meat on this movie. Themes were there, but they weren't really that strong. Like, okay, yeah, we can talk about trauma. We can talk about letting go, regret, the grass green on the other side, but it wasn't at the forefront.
Chances. Yeah, I think that was it.
It was.
Yeah, we are all capable of being evil and making mistakes, but we can all learn from it. I think that was the lesson in the end, because there was evil Doctor Strange, there was evil Wanda, and they all sort of redeemed themselves. And
I do like that one little thing. Yeah, I do like that one little thing, because the evil Doctor Strange was saying, I was going around the multiverse killing other Doctor Strange. Remember when you kept having that dream about you falling off a building? That was probably me. And I was thinking like, yeah, so you can, I don't know if it's true or not, you can never picture yourself dying in a dream or something. Like whenever it happens, you wake up like automatically. So I guess if we are talking about the multiverse dreams, whatever like that, when you are dying, it's when you're snapping out of it, whatever like that. And the dream walks were cool. That's another thing. We talking all his cameos. Gomer told me Sleepwalker was going to be in this movie. Gomer lied. So yeah, one out of 5 for this movie, man.
Did Gomer actually go see this movie?
I don't know. He probably read a Wikipedia or a script of it or something like that. Yeah, so don't tell him. But yeah, like I said, that's the reason I'm giving a high, because of the creativity factor what they were doing. Yes, the themes were weak, they were contrived. I agree with you on that. A lot of the plot did seem convenient. Oh, we got this one multiverse girl that just popped out of nowhere into Doctor Strange's lap. Okay. So the plot was kind of contrived, but like I said, creativity. Zombie Doctor Strange, Illuminati pop out of nowhere, getting wiped out in 5 minutes. Evil Doctor Strange and good Doctor Strange fighting each other with music. It was shit that remember, and the horror elements. Like I said, it didn't scare me, but just the fact that they went there. It felt like Sam Raimi was like, oh, I'm a horror movie guy, right? I'm gonna take this as far as Marvel will let me go.
I mean, I'm Doctor. I mean, Sam Raimi's done a bunch of movies. He's done. Yeah, his horror movies get a lot of attention because he's just so good at them. But he's done like comedies and noir. Was it Simple Plan and what's that shitty fucking Kevin Costner baseball love story pile of shit that he made? That movie sucked. The love of the game, where Kevin Costner was the baseball player and it was a love story. God, that movie.
He's a baseball player like in every movie in the 90s.
Yeah,
he couldn't do anything else but play baseball.
But Westerns, he made Quick and the Dead with Sharon Stone. I mean, he just makes
that was an awesome movie.
Yeah, comedies, and it's just his movies his horror movies gets a lot of attention because he's just good at that shit. So it's cool to just see him flex. He's perfectly made. Like I said, his style of filmmaking is what everybody does now. I mean, he pioneered it. Only he was doing it without CG.
Yeah. Right. Like I said, and then the thing was, this movie did have Sam Raimi's stamp on. A lot of these Marvel movies just feel like they are cranked out by a factory, stuff like that. But this felt like a Sam Raimi movie, to me, at least. So,
yeah. I know people are saying, "Oh, no, he shouldn't direct anything," and blah blah blah. I've seen some of those posts. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Some people just want to just go against the grain. Some people hate this movie.
Yeah, because I like the same thing with like the Boba Fett show. Like, oh, Robert Rodriguez shouldn't direct any more Star Wars. I was like, it ain't Robert Rodriguez's fault. Filoni and Favreau are the one who wrote that shit. You don't understand. You got to understand the process of filmmaking. It's
right.
It's not
Kathleen Kennedy is so her fault.
Yeah. The director is puts together the shots and tells the actors what to do. It all comes from they're working off a script written beforehand. So yeah, and Sam Raimi didn't write this. He just put it on screen for you.
Yeah. So, but whoever wrote this,
I did a fine job at it.
Right. He directed it, but whoever wrote it, I give them props for it also. Because like I said, I'm pretty sure Zombie Doctor Strange at the end was Sam Raimi's idea, but if it wasn't, I give props to whoever thought of that. That shit was awesome. Move on past that.
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. We're done with the Doctor Strange thing. We're gonna move on to the comic books now, because I know Eli read a bunch of shit and want to just talk about it, and I'm see if I can pull up the books I want to talk about. But I'm gonna let you go first. Let's see what we got.
Okie dokie. Well, should I go with Obi-Wan or Giant Size X-Men? Or not X-Men. What's this guy's name again?
T-Hawk.
What the hell? Where's he at? Where's my thing? Where's my share?
Here's a clue.
Here. Okay. Oh, my screen was freezing for a second. Okay, here we go. All right. So Giant Size Thunderbird #1. So this is, the forgotten X-Men.
Been dead since the 70s.
Yeah. Been dead since the 70s. He has been recently resurrected because that's what you can do now on Krakoa, resurrect mutants. And he's back. And he kind of redeems himself in this book. He's no longer the angry, chip on his shoulder native dude.
Native Wolverine, basically.
Yeah, who just wants to like lash out at everybody like he was in the comics, or he was back in the 70s, and which led to his death. His refusal to reason and listen. And to take him in context, this is the 70s. This is when a lot of native activism was going on. You had the American Indian movement. You had the stuff going on in Pine Ridge. You had the Longest Walk, the taking over of Alcatraz. Marlon Brando refusing his Oscar and sending Sasheen Littlefeather on stage to get booed, and almost, John Wayne tried to beat her up backstage.
Right.
So there was a lot of
had to hold him back.
Yeah. So there was a lot of native awareness going on in the 70s, and that's where that was John Proudstar was a product of that time. So he's just this angry native guy who's got a chip on his shoulder, and that's what led to his death. So he's back in this, and he basically returns home, goes back to his Apache reservation, and it turns out Orcus has kidnapped everybody on his res. Basically, they went there to try and find the native mutants. And
wait. So he never got a chance to actually talk to his family?
Oh, well, I'll get to that. Yeah, he does.
Oh,
Spoilers.
Okay. My
Tell
bad. Let me
you
shut the fuck
didn't
up.
read this without telling me you didn't read it.
I was going to. I was planning on it.
So Orcus basically kidnapped the whole res because they went there to try to find the native mutants, and nobody would give them up. So they just put everybody into the border jail, into detention, into those cages. So Proudstar goes to the cops, beats the shit out of the cops. And then Orcus shows up, and that one guy from I forget his name. He's an old Marasek or some shit, some old X-Men shit. Initiative, Heritage Initiative or some shit. Anyways, he shows up and he's like, "Yeah, we're in." Basically, lays out the plan of we're basically we've copyrighted the native mutant gene, so they own native mutants. They own them by the government, and they're going to produce native mutants and influence them and put them in places of power in a government so they can influence them. And of course, Proudstar's like, fuck that shit. They have a fight. That guy turns into a werewolf. Yeah, this guy turns into a werewolf. Marisek or Martisek. I don't know. Some old X-Men.
That's a new guy. Is he new or is he?
Initiative. Heritage Initiative, part of Orcus. I don't know. I heard he was like an old villain. That's all I know. So,
okay.
But anyway, he turns into a werewolf. They have a fight. Proudstar beats the living shit out of him, and he's right about to rip his jaws open. He's got his jaw, like his hands on his jaws, ready to like rip his skull in half. And then Proudstar's grandma shows up. And is like, "What the fuck, John? I thought you were dead." And seeing that you're in a rage, it looks like the boy I knew is still, you're still full of his rage. So his grandma ends up talking him down, saying, "I know you're full of rage. You've always been an angry kid and an angry man. And that's what led to your death. But if you kill this guy, you're going to bring more heat down on our people. They're just going to keep coming. You can't just kill this guy or they're going to come after all of us." So he ends up like, okay, fuck it. And he ends up sparing the guy's life. They take off. They go back.
Okay.
Yeah. They go back to the res. Warpath shows up. He plants the flower to Krakoa. Warpath shows up through the gateway, and they all, "Oh, hey, it's a reunion." They all have they take a selfie together, and like, "Oh yeah, home is where the heart is. It's good to be home." And so it was kind of cool. I was expecting it to be a little corny, and it really wasn't. I was actually surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. They changed his costume. There were some slow interludes where they do that Hickman shit where you get a page of reading exposition and shit, they basically explain Proudstar and his culture and the colors of his costume and how turquoise means is the color of strength and resilience, and that's why he wants a turquoise costume now. So there's all of that, and I was like, you know what? Let them do it because he ain't gonna get an ongoing series. They don't got another issue to explain this shit. So fuck it. Write me a big ass, long ass diatribe in one page explaining all that shit.
Just a big wall of text.
Just explain all the shit you weren't gonna be able to say in another issue because they're not letting you write another issue. This is it. You only got one shot. So I was fine with that, and yeah, it touched on. It touched on a lot of native issues. It touched on, the whole blood quantum thing, the idea of natives are the only race on Earth that has to measure their blood, the percentage of their native blood to prove they're native. Only dogs do that. The breeds of dogs and natives, So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting how Orchid was like after native mutant genes and all that, So yeah, it's basically, it's thematically Proudstar is fighting against the man, in this book, still angry, but still is able to dial it back at the end and not become that, the angry asshole that he was.
He gets a character arc,
Yes,
which he never got a chance to in the old books. Yeah,
because they keep referring to that, how his anger led to his death. He wouldn't listen to Professor X, and they keep calling him that fucking old white man in that school. They keep fucking.
That's what he was doing in the book. He was like, Professor X trying to recruit him. Look, white man,
Yeah, yeah. They keep referring to they refer to Professor X as an asshole, and basically how he wouldn't listen to him, and that's how he ended up getting killed on that plane and shit. So yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I was pleasantly surprised by this. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I thought it was going to be another corny crap that Marvel was going to shove out and pat themselves on the back for native diversity, but it was surprisingly well done. And this was written by Nyla Rose, that wrestler for AEW. She's the trans woman champion of the wrestling circuit. So she co-wrote this. So I thought that was pretty cool. And a native artist did the art too. So I dug on it. I didn't think I would, and I did. So there you go. 4 out of 5. Cool.
Just want to, since I don't know when we're going to talk about Thunderbird again. I'll talk about Thunderbird just briefly about why he died, because they were always going to kill a X-Man, but why Thunderbird? Because he was the angry guy, and they already had an angry guy with Wolverine. So they were like, okay, we're going to kill one of these guys. We don't need 2 angry guys. We already got nice guys like Colossus and Nightcrawler, like that. So why kill Thunderbird? Because Len Wein and Dave Cochran were Canadian. That's why.
And Wolverine's cooler.
And Wolverine's Canadian and cooler. So like, we can't kill the Canadian,
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, that's true story. That's what happened. So yeah. But my book next. What am I gonna do next? I read this once and I don't know if I remember anything about this book, man. Why did I read this? Okay, the book I read was Flashpoint Beyond #1. I guess you're gonna know what my rating is because I can barely remember anything that happened in this book. But what this is about? This is about Flashpoint Batman. Thomas Wayne, the crazy one that kills people and shit like that. So is that. Why is he here? We will find out. Because apparently in this book, the Flashpoint universe is back. How it got back, they don't know. And Thomas Wayne
crisis happened.
Well, not really. Not a crisis.
An anti-crisis?
Kind of, but not really. But
somebody opened the forge or some shit, or
the source wall or some shit like that. Why you bullshitting, Eli? I am working on a multiverse map for DC right now that I'm going to upload on the site, but it's taken me a few weeks to get it done. That's why I haven't uploaded it yet. But anyway, where were we going?
You're going like all out, huh?
I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it, and I'll get shared by one person, or maybe 2. Jay's gonna share it, and that's gonna be it. That's it. But yeah, I'm putting work into it. But anyway, what we're doing right now is that the Flashpoint universe is back, and it left off where the Atlanteans are invading the Amazonians, and they're about to nuke the shit, whatever like that, whatever. So Thomas Wayne is there, and some other shit happened. I don't know, but this kid right here is Harvey Dent's kid, but Harvey Dent is dead. And his name is Dexter Dent. Doesn't talk, and Dexter Dent. And the Penguin works for Thomas Wayne. He's like his Alfred.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. He was like, look, I gotta go handle some business. Babysit the kid for me. He's like, okay, Mr. Wayne. And that's it. That's pretty much what happened. That's the reason Thomas Wayne has to go. He's got to go down to the Batcave and he's got to do some investigating, because the reason he's trying to figure out why is the Flashpoint world still here. Because last time he remembers the Flashpoint world ending. He remembers Barry Allen coming here and ending it. But an assassin called Scavenger assassinated Barry Allen before he could before he could turn into the Flash. So somebody flashpointed the Flashpoint to make it not happen. So he's trying to find out, but he knows the Scavenger is an Atlantean assassin. So he knows the only way to find out who sent the Atlantean assassin is to find Aquaman and make Aquaman tell him who did. So that's the plan. Right. Yeah. So it's Flashpoint Batman versus Aquaman. So Aquaman is invading Europe because that's what the Amazons are doing. And they have captured Wonder Woman. And yeah, they've captured Wonder Woman, tied her up in her own lasso of truth, and bear her like a Bond villain where they're going to drown her because the tide is rising. or whatever like that. Oh, and that's Topo. Topo was the drum playing octopus in Aquaman movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this one he's a guard. So yeah. He's like, look, I'm gonna kill this Wonder bitch. She killed my family, all her Amazons did all this shit. She was like, come closer. And then she gets closer and rips off one of his tentacles. She was like, you bitch, I'm about to kill you. But before he could do anything, they see something creeping up in the water. Like, what's that in the water? Boom. FLASHPOINT Batman headshots both of them. He's wearing like a water breather, whatever like that. So, he can, whatever. All right. So he's basically telling Wonder Woman, I need your magic lasso. I got to go ask Aquaman a question. And I know he's not going to give me the question willingly. So I need your lasso to make him tell me the truth. And she's like, look, you touch this lasso, I'll kill you. You're like, yeah, you could, or we can make a deal. Give me the lasso, I go deal with Aquaman, and then once it's done, you get the lasso back and you can do whatever the hell you want to Aquaman. Plus, I'm gonna let you free so you won't drown right here. We got a deal? You're like, cool, we got a deal. But screw me over, FLASHPOINT Batman, that's your ass, So he's like, cool. So Aquaman is sitting in his throne watching his Atlanteans destroy Europe and the Amazons. And he hears something behind him, but he doesn't know really what it is. And as soon as it ticks, boom, he gets the lasso of truth slapped around his neck. Batman is asking questions. Who killed Barry Allen? Who sent the scavenger? Tell me now. And he throws him off. And he's just like, look, you got to tell me who did it, Aquaman. You're wearing the lasso of truth, so you have to tell the truth no matter what. And Aquaman says, look, okay, I don't know who sent the scavenger. That's the truth. And when I get my hands on you, I'm gonna rip your head off. That's all the fucking truth, also, But then he gets him, but he doesn't kill him. He just knocks him out and just walks off. He was like, look, I know you tried to kill me. It don't really matter. I'm gonna destroy the but what you really did, where you fucked up, is that you freed Wonder Woman. Now she's on the loose again. Don't tell her what the hell she's gonna do. And all I gotta do is just touch this thing and I'm gonna destroy Europe. But then he realized Wonder Woman is right behind him. She didn't go anywhere, she came after him. And she was like, you know what, Arthur, I always loved you. He was like, and I always loved Mira. You killed my queen. And he just bleeds out and dies, and that's it, And then Batman gives her back the lasso of truth. And she's like, look, I don't care what you do, start a war, kill Europe, blow up the planet. I don't care. I'm gone. He goes back home. He finds out that Penguin is training Dexter how to shoot because Dexter want to learn how to shoot a gun. And yeah, that's it. He leaves. I'm trying to think what happened at the end of this book. I don't know.
Then we could the Penguin.
No. Yeah, he just disappears. Like he was talking to Miller Penguin. Penguin disappears, and he just like the Jim Gordon shit. But honestly, oh yeah, Batman. We go to Bruce Wayne like regular timeline, and he meets some Davy Crockett looking kid. He's like, they must never know what the hell that means. I don't know. I don't know if I even want to know. But yeah, so look, this is Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns is in the doghouse with DC. So whenever he writes shit, it's just shit over to the side nobody cares about. So crisis, no crisis, it don't really matter. This book doesn't matter. It's just a thing. I just read it just cause, but whatever. But you got to see FLASHPOINT Batman do some cool shit. But they ignore all the other shit that FLASHPOINT Batman did. He hopped over from his universe to our universe, or Batman's universe, recruited Bane, killed Alfred, went on a killing spree, controlled Gotham, went to another universe, teamed up with President Superman, joined the Justice League Incarnate. They ignored all that shit. So, whatever. 3 out of 5. I think it's another book after this, but yeah, it's art was kind of cool, but yeah. Hold up, we got another one. We got
Marvel Legacies.
Do you think Marvel Legacy?
Which one's that? I don't know if
I don't know what Marvel Legacy is. Is that Black Panther book? I think they got a Black Panther Legacy book. It's not where they kind of like tell old stories, but they put a new spin on it.
Oh, is it?
I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, 616 Man, Giant Size never went away. They did like Giant Size Magneto, Giant Size Storm, Giant Size Jean Grey. So the X-Men are doing these Giant Size books pretty much on a regular, But yeah, what you got next?
I guess I'll do this Obi-Wan book.
Q.
So because it was May the 4th, and the Obi-Wan show is coming out soon. We have
the first Avengers. Oh, that book, yeah. Oh, that Avengers BC shit. Yeah, sound like it might be cool.
Oh, yeah, the Jason Aaron run shit.
Yeah, Jason Aaron. If he's writing it, yeah, it's probably gonna be cool with Phoenix and all this shit. Yeah. Oh, you got Obi-Wan. Okay, I thought you were talking about like young-ish Obi-Wan.
Well,
You about
yeah,
old
yeah,
Obi-Wan.
no, yeah, they go younger. We got baby Obi-Wan.
They gotta sell those toys. So yeah.
So this is basically Obi-Wan. He's just at his hut on Tatooine, writing in a journal, and he's reminiscing about his life. And he starts to think about all these times in his life, these significant lessons he's learned. And this book starts out where he's remembering when he was a kid, when he was just a youngling in the Jedi Temple. And he had a friend, some girl named, what was her name? Giron or Giron or something. Anyway, I'll call her Jerry. Geraldine or something. I don't know. Anyways, she wanted to leave because she keeps having these visions. She keeps having these nightmares about something happening to her family, to her father, kind of similar to Anakin. And she's like up at night, and Obi-Wan wakes up and sees her outside the temple, and she's like, yeah, I keep having these nightmares. I gotta go save my family. He's like, you can't leave the temple, blah, 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 blah. He's like, you're my only friend. You're the one who looks out for me. You know, he looks up to this chick, this little girl. They're like, I don't know, maybe 10 little kids. And she's, I can't stay. I gotta go. I gotta do something about it. And then so she ends up like taking off. She straight up jumps off the top of the Jedi Temple. And this is Coruscant. So she falls and falls and falls down, you know, to the bottom of the streets on Coruscant, which is like miles down. And Obi-Wan's like, I can't let my friend, you know, anything happen to my friend. So he goes after her. He jumps down, goes after her. And they end up on the bottom levels of Coruscant, where it's all, you know, it's all slums and, you know, the scum and villainy, you know, on Coruscant, you know, bad neighborhood, you know, it's the bad part of town. So they're, you know, these two little Jedi kids are wandering through. Well, first Obi-Wan's trying to find her, and he's running through the alley, and he meets up with a bunch of these like criminals, and they basically there's like, get him and all that. So they try to catch him, but then the girl shows up, and then they like do some force shit and kind of fuck them up, like force push them and shit. Fuck up these like, you know, criminals on the streets. And that basically they were trying to kidnap them. It turns out they worked for Black Sun. The Black Sun is Prince Zizor's crime syndicate. So they basically wanted to kidnap them and sell them on the black market. You know, Jedi force sensitive children are worth a lot on the black market. So
they were dealing with human trafficking. Okay.
Yeah. So, but they end up breaking out and escaping. And they're like getting shot at. You know, they end up escaping, and Obi-Wan's like, "Come on, we got to go back to the temple." She's like, "No, I'm not going back. I'm going to go find my family. I want to save my family." So she takes off, and he goes back to the Obi-Wan goes back to the temple, and he finds Yoda waiting for him. It's like, you escaped. You know, you're not supposed to like leave the temple, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, but I was trying to save my friend. It's like, well, she's confused, and basically gives him a lesson that, what did he say? Something about how, you know, the thing about attachments and shit, you know, stupid shit to say to a kid. Like, the fuck do they know? But anyways, here, start mopping. He makes Obi-Wan mop. And you will, you know, you will think about this, you will, or whatever. And he has to mop and sort of dwell on him trying to escape the temple at night. And that's about it. He's like, yep. And it cuts back. He's, you know, back to old Obi-Wan. He's writing in his journal. He's like, I never saw her again. I wonder where she is, and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, and that's where the book ends, and we're going to get the next book. So basically that's what it is. He's going to be reminiscing about the life and times of Obi-Wan. So yeah, it was okay. You know, it was okay. I'll give it 3 out of 5. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little burnt out. I've been watching nothing but Star Wars all week. I watched every fucking movie this week.
So you marathon? Okay, which one you didn't watch?
I was like, should I just throw on some, just prove my thick man balls and watch the Ewok Adventures and the Caravan?
Oh wow, okay, you go real deep with that one.
No,
Okay.
But I didn't. I stopped there. No, I finished up with Solo today. No, Clone Wars. I actually watched the Clone Wars movie too. I watched all the
The
trilogies.
original movie, like the one that kind of
Yep.
like a TV pilot kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
I watched all 3 trilogies. I watched Rogue One. I watched Solo.
Did you watch the George Tarkanian Clone Wars cartoon, the one that got made Samurai Jack?
I own those, but I didn't watch that. I haven't watched those in a while. I do own them.
You messing up, Eli. You messing up.
Those are great though. No, I love those. They're not really movies though. They're like little TV shows.
Okay, yeah,
like
you're right. You're right. That's bending the rules. You're right.
Watch them together like an hour long, 45 minutes.
Right. They're like shorts, you know.
Yeah, they're like 5 minutes long. There's like what 5-minute episodes or some shit. No, the duel with Ventress and Anakin, that's awesome. That's like one of my favorite shits in Star Wars. Is that duel of Anakin and Asajj Ventress? Asajj Ventress. Like Anakin has those fucked up visions in the cave, and the darkness is going through. It's like the darkness, like Doctor Strange. It goes up his arm and shit. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
that stuff is in all Buddhism and yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I was going to do the Legends of Tomorrow comic, but I read it.
I saw that. I bet you Leroy's going to do that.
I was like, Eli, I don't even want to put you through it. I don't. Is that because we're not gonna talk about it. Just So instead, I'm gonna do a retro review. Since we're talking about Doctor Strange and one, I decided to do an old school Avengers book. I just read this book, and I was gonna do one, but I didn't read it in time enough to catch what was going on. So I'm gonna do West Coast Avengers 56. There's another one of those books where Wanda goes crazy. So yeah. So, but this is the 90s one where she went crazy. So, let's see if I can get into it. So, catching up with you, she just found out her kids were not real. They were pieces of Mephisto, and they just fought Mephisto, and they sent them back to hell, stuff like that. But in the meantime, since Wanda had found out what the hell was going on, she went nuts. She kind of like went catatonic, shit like that. Like, oh, my kids ain't real. What the fuck am I gonna do? Oh, and Vision just became a robot, so they're divorced. So she lost her mind. Meanwhile, she could kidnap back Magneto. Well, I'll say that's actually a spoiler for the end. All right, so anyway, evil Wanda, let's get to it. Let's get us out of here. Okay, so the book starts off with Wanda is evil. Oh, so much power. I never had so much power before. Look at this. And she had a new costume. That's not her old, it's a new costume.
New hairdo.
So new hairdo, new
Wonder Man. Hey, Wonder Man. Check out Wonder Man.
I gotta explain Wonder Man because a lot of people don't know who Wonder Man is.
Wonder Man at? How come? You know what? Doctor Strange 2 sucked. Wonder Man.
No. I gotta explain why you don't see Wonder Man. Okay, explain to everybody here. We got Agatha Harkness. Yes, she's actually like really fucking old. John Walker, the U.S. agent, because he's the other Captain America. Wasp, who you don't see, and Wonder Man. Now, the reason you don't see Wonder Man is because another company that has the initials of the Distinguished Competition told them, Marvel, quit that shit. I'm gonna sue you. Because we already own the rights to a woman with Wonder in her name. So Stanley was like, okay, cool. We'll back off Wonder Man. But then just to fuck with him, they bring back Wonder Man every other decade just to see if DC would do something.
So Wonder Girl and Wonder Woman?
Yes. But then they have a Power Girl in DC. When they made Power Man, Stanley was like, what the fuck, man? You're ripping us off. But anyway, going to it. So Wanda's just like...
Can't they just call him, what's his name? Simon? What the fuck's his name?
You can, but
what's his name? Simon Williams? Is that his name?
But you can't sell a book named Simon Williams as.
Yeah, Simon Says. Starring Dennis Rodman.
Right, it's a Dennis Rodman movie. Yeah, but anyway, so Wanda's evil. She's like, look, I've destroyed the earth. My kids are evil, but guess what? Now I don't have kids. Now I don't have a wife. And now she's looking at Wonder Man. She's like, you know what, Wonder Man? I'm single now. What you think about that? What you think about my new costume? You think I wouldn't notice you, how you look at me and how I look back at you? And then she starts ripping off his shirt and shit. And she's like, wait, Wanda, what the hell are you doing? And okay, so I got to explain this panel, what happens right here. Let me see if I can expand this. Because here's the thing. In John Byrne's original drawing, when he let me see if I can get this shit out here. In John Byrne's original drawing, Wanda's head wasn't there. So when he submitted the artwork, Marvel like, what the fuck, John Byrne? You can't do that shit.
Wonder Man's allergic to blowjobs.
Right. So they had to digitally add Wanda's head in the panel because at first her head she wasn't there. Because it never made any sense to me on this panel until I went on his Facebook page and he explained the shit. I don't have his Facebook page in front of me right now, but that's what originally happened. Anyway, some bullshit with Hank Pym. I don't care. He's got to run away. Kang the Conqueror shows up doing some bullshit. Don't care. Quicksilver shows up like Hank Pym. I heard you got my sister. Anyway, cut to it. Human Torch, don't care. Iron Man, don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Back here. Okay, so Hank Pym finds out that Wanda's gone nuts and he's trying to rescue the West Coast Avengers. And Wanda's looking like, what, you didn't like what I did to you, Wonder Man? And Wasp looking at like Wonder Man, and Wonder Man like, don't talk to me. Don't even look at me what I did. And I'm like, oh, she did. But when I realized what John Byrne was trying to imply what he did, I'm like, oh, that's what. So yeah, she did give him like a blowjob of death. That's but they cut it out of comic. So yeah.
Stop sucking my dick. Stop sucking my dick.
Anyway, so Wanda so Wanda goes to John Walker like, oh, you want something too, John? I saw you over there looking. You want a blowjob of death too? She's like, get off me. And then that's when her dad shows up, Magneto. She's like, Wanda, I'm back. I'm home. You're like, hey, Dad, how you doing? Who's sucking dick in my house?
Stop sucking everyone's dick. Fuck you, Dad.
So Hank Pym tries to sneak at the wall. He minimizes the wall or some shit, breaks into it, sees Wanda and Magneto chilling here, like, okay, Magneto, get the hell away from, that's an Avenger right here. Get away from her. You want your dick sucked too, Hank Pym?
This is a way better story now.
Yeah, really. Once you know the context behind it, so Magneto just like, no, I'm taking my daughter. I'm getting out of here. You can't stop me. He like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stop you. And then he pulls out a miniature gun that he had in his pocket, made it regular size. He like, okay, now take her out. He like, nah, I changed my mind. So Quicksilver, knocks him out. Teams up with Magneto. And
I was gonna make a phallic joke right there, but I was not.
I mean, you might as well.
I'm a gentleman.
Look, we've read the Ultimate Comics. Somebody's gonna make the comment, but we're gonna let it go. Anyway, they teamed up and they're gonna be all
Keep
evil.
It classy here. We're keeping it classy.
Yeah, we're a family show. We're Marvel, Yeah, but anyway, they're gonna reform the mutants evil. She was like, yeah, I'm a mutant, so I'm gonna join the mutants again, blah blah blah, and all stuff like that. So yeah, that's the story. I was gonna do the one where Mephisto actually does show up and you can do the one with her kids, but I went the last minute so I didn't get a chance to do it. So yeah. Unless I just change my mind and decide to do Legends of Tomorrow, I'm booked out. So yeah. You got any other ones? Or?
I've got I do have the Batman number 120. What is it? 120 something. The next chapter in the
Shadow War.
Yep. Shadow War Part 5. This is Batman 123. So yeah. So for those who don't know what's going on, somebody has killed Ra's al Ghul, blew up his body. They were dressed up as Deathstroke. But Talia al Ghul thinks Deathstroke did it, so she put out a hit on Deathstroke, got every ninja on the planet gunning for Deathstroke. Deathstroke and all his homies, the Deathstroke Inc. or whatever, they went into hiding. And then you got Batman and the Bat Family and Batman Inc. They're going around trying to solve it. And so this starts out Batman and Robin, Damian, they're questioning a guy who went to Central City and went to a costume maker to get everybody get Deathstroke outfits and shit. So Batman and Robin go to Central City to find the guy who made the Deathstroke outfits, and they find him. He's all fucked up. He's not dead yet, but he's all fucked up. And then they find the guy dressed up as Deathstroke, saying, if you know, telling Batman and Robin, if you're smart, you stay out of my way and let me finish what I've started. And it takes off, but then they go chase him, and then right when they get there, that's not what happened. What happens now? What happened? Meanwhile, Deathstroke and Respawn and them on all those motherfuckers, they all get ambushed by the League of Assassins, and there's like just a swarm of ninjas, and everybody's fighting. Yeah, and then ninjas with guns. Yeah, oh my God, they're doing the League of Assassins are taking a page out of my book. they got guns now. So a bunch of ninjas with guns are shooting, and they're all like rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. And then Deathstroke and his Deathstroke's daughter shows up. And she's like, I'm here to help you, Dad.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no. And they shot and killed Respawn, his son. So that's the last panel. It's like Deathstroke is holding his son. No, not again. So that's kind of where it ends. I should have. This is the page before. I only screenshot.
I think Respawn's power is that he can respawn.
That would make sense.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this was kind of slow. They're kind of like taking little breaks here. Setting up the big finale. They're trying to have. There's a couple of moments of Damian and Batman are talking about the tournament and all this shit, and these little human moments that are okay. And then the Batman Inc. guys are like talking to Deathstroke, like, yeah, we're here to protect you, because everyone's trying to kill you, and that's when all the ninjas show up, and they all start fighting in the ninjas, big old ninja war. So that was cool. So yeah, I give it a 4 out of 5. I'm still digging this story, so pretty cool.
Cool. All right, let's see what we got here. It's a story art, great your opinion, guys. Good storytelling, conflict, characters, emotional stakes, stakes what happened at the end of it, everything
that makes you think, I mean, it's cool to have action and tropes are fine and when they're used well, but sometimes you get a good writer that can do all that, but also make you think and make it deeper, because anybody can write a story, this happens and that happens. But when you get into the characters of why the characters doing that, and what motivates the characters to do what they're doing and the villains to do what they do, then sometimes you can relate to them. And then
because you have to connect with the characters also.
Yeah. So you identify what's going on and it becomes personal. So I don't know. I guess that's
I think that's just the main thing. If you don't connect with your character first and foremost, then anything else that happens in the story, you're not going to care about. I've read plenty of comic book stories where the universe is about destroyed and Earth's about to blow up, and I don't give a shit about none of this stuff because I don't care about the characters. But you can tell a more personal, story with just simple shit, and you'll connect with that more.
Yeah, like Fantastic Four by Hickman. That's a big, giant, epic, science fiction, like universes and time travel and all this really wild, bugged out science fiction. But at the core of it, it's about a father and his son, and the son trying to save his father. And that thread goes all the way through. And that's those emotional beats that make that story so good, because it's about family. It's about the family. Like when Johnny dies, oh my God.
That's one of my favorite issues ever.
Yeah.
That when Johnny dies,
yeah.
And when was it Thing and Hulk and who else was it?
Thor and Hulk. Oh,
yeah, and they just show up and Thing just starts fighting because they know he needs to let out that emotion.
Oh God, yeah, they let the Thing.
Or even when Spider-Man was talking to Franklin, he
was
like,
God.
Man. And he was telling, man, I lost my uncle too. I was like, damn, that's some deep shit right there. So yeah, but it's stories of flops. Yeah. What name a DC
Doomsday
story?
Clock.
Doomsday Clock, 0 Hour, any of these recent crises. I read Convergence. Yeah, I mean, it's got to remember a flop because it's a flop for a reason because you can't remember it. But yeah,
or it makes you
Dark Knight's Metal.
Yes,
no, Dark Knight's Metal was cool.
They drag it out for like a year and then it sucks at the end.
Right. No payoff. Yeah. It's all kind of stuff that can make a bad story. It's easy to make a bad story. That anybody could do that. It's the good story.
It starts out cool and then they fuck it up at the end. Like, oh, this is the last issue. And then they wrap it all up all half-assed and, it's all quick to get to the end. And then it's like, what? That's it? All this build up and it just kind of fizzles out at the end, That's my biggest peeve. So.
Yeah, take Infinity Gauntlet, for instance, like the original Infinity Gauntlet story. The reason that story stands out because they actually, and all the fucked up shit Thanos does, they make him a sympathetic character because he's doing all that shit for somebody. And it's like, no matter what you do, destroy the world, give them the world, do all this, you're never going to be happy with what you're doing.
And then he doesn't die at the end. He was it the Infinity Watch or whatever? They take him onto the
No.
farm.
No. He leaves for the farm. They don't take him because they try to. The heroes try to take him, like Drax Destroyer and Hulk try to. Okay, we can take him now, and he backhand both of them. Get the fuck off me.
Yeah,
and it just leaves and goes start a form, and that's it. They just that's it. But they make a character of Thanos interesting because of that. Not just because he's all powerful and all that, but you care about Thanos as fucked up as he is.
Yeah. And those are some of the best characters, the ones that, I mean, you don't have to like them, but as long as like Magneto. Magneto is a fucking mass murdering fucking fascist, but I get it.
Right. I mean? You understand why he's doing what he's doing because one thing that the X-Men have seen the future and everything Magneto said is going to happen, and all those futures has happened. So we could make the argument Magneto was right. Yeah. So interesting villain. Interesting villain makes for great stories also.
Yeah, because he doesn't think he's a villain, and those are the best villains. Where they don't
like Dr. Doom in Secret Wars. That was awesome. Like Dr. Doom saved the universe in Secret Wars. All he asked for was the Avengers worship him as a god. That's all.
That's all. And he found that beneath him.
Right. Old Man Logan, Old Man Star Wars.
I didn't read Old Man Star-Lord. So
I didn't read Old Man Star-Lord. Old Man Logan was good mainly because of shock value. Just because it was just low. What the fuck's gonna happen? But that's another thing also when you get creative with the storytelling, that catches you also.
Yeah.
But look, we can talk about this next week. I think we're gonna go on too long. I don't want to hit that 2 hour mark. We're gonna go shut this down. So follow us next week. Let me see. Earl, jump in early. Ask a bunch of questions, man. When you get in early, we'll answer whatever you want. We can talk. We can chop it up as much as you want to. Till then, we'll come in next week. We'll talk about some other shit. I don't know what we'll talk about, but we'll get into it. I promise you, I will read new comics next week. I will not read a book about killer blowjobs unless you want me to, But until then, this
is it Miles or not Miles? So, Blood Syndicate's coming out soon, one of these days. So I'm looking forward to that.
Something. I don't know where. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get on Blood Syndicate. Yeah, we'll break that book down.
Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, but we'll have to shut it down. But until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time, same bullet channel.